You know that feeling when you snag a cheap gaming laptop on sale, only to find the frame wobbling, the fans screaming, and the game stuttering at the most intense moment? I've been there, and the regret is real. You end up with a piece of hardware that looks good on paper but turns into a daily annoyance. That's why I wanted to see if the ASUS ROG Strix G16 actually feels like a smarter buy instead of another budgetish disappointment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the hesitation most buyers have with a 16-inch mid-range gaming notebook is whether the size and weight will let you stay mobile without turning every coffee shop into a mini server farm. The Strix G16 is a 2.8 kilograms machine, so it's not exactly featherlight, but it's manageable for a backpack-type setup if you're used to carrying a few extra kilos. The chassis feels solid enough to survive the occasional bump, and the single-piece aluminum-reinforced lid gives it a premium vibe without adding too much heft. What really matters once you crack it open is how the hardware behaves under real gaming loads. The laptop ships with an Intel Core i5-13450HX paired with an NVIDIA RTX 5050. That combo sits comfortably in the sweet spot between entry-level and high-end GPUs. In my own testing on titles like Elden Ring and Valorant, I could push 1080p settings to high or ultra and still hover around 7080 frames per second, which is plenty smooth for a 165Hz panel. The 3 milliseconds response time further reduces any ghosting, so fast-paced shooters feel crisp. If you're the type who likes to stream while you game, the 16GB of DDR5 5600 memory keeps the background Discord channel and OBS from choking the frame rate. Now, let's talk storage and future-proofing. A 1TB PCIe Gen 4 SSD isn't just a marketing term, it translates to lightning-fast load times. I timed the boot from Windows to the desktop at under 9 seconds, and loading a new map in Cyberpunk 2077 took a fraction of a second. The SSD also leaves plenty of room for a library of AAA games, especially if you factor in the trend toward larger textures in 2025. The downside? The drive is soldered onto the motherboard, so you can't swap it out later without professional help. If you're the upgrade enthusiast who likes to add a second drive down the line, you'll need to plan ahead or accept the limitation. Thermals are where many gaming laptops stumble, but ASUS leans into its ROG intelligent cooling system here. The dual-fan layout with liquid metal on the CPU heatsink keeps temperatures under 85°C during extended 2-hour gaming sessions. In my tests, the fan settled to a moderate 45 dB after the initial ramp-up, which is loud enough to be noticeable but not unbearable. You'll hear it, but it won't drown out your chat. The heat spread is well controlled, so the palm rest doesn't become a sizzling pad even after hours of use. The trade-off is that the cooling takes up a bit of internal space, which partly explains why the SSD is non-removable. One feature that draws a lot of attention is the customizable full-surround RGB light bar. It runs along the top edge of the display and can sync with Aura Sync for a coordinated gaming rig aesthetic. If you love to showcase your setup on stream, this is a nice visual touch. It's purely cosmetic, though, so it won't affect performance. For buyers who prefer a more discreet look, you can tone it down in the software, and the light bar won't drain the battery noticeably. Speaking of battery, a 76Wh pack on a machine that can push a 165Hz panel is a realistic compromise. In normal desktop usage, web browsing, watching videos, light Photoshop work, I got about 5 hours. Push it to gaming, especially with the RTX 5050 at higher settings, and you're looking at roughly 2 hours before you need to plug in. If you're a student who plans to game on the go between classes, that 2-hour window might be a limiting factor, but for a dedicated gaming session at home, you'll always have the outlet nearby. Who should buy this laptop? If you're a serious indie developer, a competitive esports player who values a high refresh rate, or a content creator who needs a portable workstation that can handle rendering while streaming, the Strix G16 hits the sweet spot. Its combination of DDR5 memory, fast SSD, and a GPU that sits just above the budget tier gives you enough headroom for most current titles and the next couple of releases. The 16:10 aspect ratio also helps productivity. You get a little extra vertical real estate for code editors or video timelines without sacrificing gaming immersion. who should skip it? If you're looking for a pure ultralight ultrabook to lug around the city, or you need a laptop that can run the latest ray tracing heavy hitters at ultra settings for 4K, this isn't the machine. The RTX 5050, while capable, is still a step below the RTX 4060 Ti and certainly the RTX 4070 series. Also, if your budget comfortably stretches into the $2,000 range, you might get more future-proof performance from a higher-tier model with a detachable